Hello to all my wonderful students, devout disciples. Welcome. I am your Master GongSun. Today, I will begin a new series where I introduce the various gods and goddesses of Taoism. Now, when you hear plural, you might be tempted to think that Taoism is a polytheistic religion, but that is not the case. It is actually very monotheistic. It's just that we have so many different gods and goddesses because they are different facets or aspects of the same thing, the Tao itself, the divine manifestation of the Tao. And it will become obvious and clear as we go along. Now, today we will talk about the San Qing, or the three pure ones in English. Now, these three are the highest of all the deities of Taoism. And every system of Taoist magic derives their power from these three. And for example, on the Fulu, the talismans that I've constructed, that I'm sure many of you have seen on my channel, you will see three check marks. And these three check marks actually represent these three deities here. And we will talk about them in more detail very shortly. Now, together, these three, the Sanqing, are responsible for the creation and management of the what we call the Wan Wu, the 10,000 created things, which is essentially everything. Because in Chinese culture and language, we use the word 10,000 or Yiwan to represent any big number. So essentially, Wan Wu means everything in the universe. Anyway, so these are the highest deities of Taoism. Now, first, we will start with this guy here. He is Yuan Si Tianzun, otherwise known as, this would translate as the original or like the primordial deity from heaven. He usually dresses in blue and would hold a pearl of wisdom, or this very long stick here. And he's the first to arise from what we call the Wuji, or the primordial chaos. He represents something without beginning and without an end. All right, the next guy we have here is Ling Bao. This guy here, Ling Bao Tianzun, and Ling Bao means the Lord of the spiritual treasures. And he was the one who oversaw creation and made sure that everything had its place, separated yin and yang, created time and space, and essentially manifested the whole physical universe. So not the non-physical realities, but the physical reality that you and I and everyone else who is human at this point, if we are in our physical bodies, then we find ourselves in his creation. Or rather, he helped to create it. Of course, the Tao was the one who created the all of reality. So his main color is red, and he usually in Taoist art he is depicted as holding something called the ruyi, meaning a sort of measuring ruler, I would call it. Yeah, that's the best translation. And then lastly, there is this very old man here. You'll notice that this guy has a white beard and white hair, older than these two. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that he is actually spiritually older, but he's just physically older because this guy, as you might have guessed, is Lao Tzu, otherwise known as Lao Shun Taizun or Taisang Lao Zun. He has many names actually. In his name, Lao Tzu, actually means the old one. And being old, unlike in the West, being old in the East is a good thing. In Eastern culture, old age would normally signify wisdom. I mean, of course, not every old person's wise. Some old people do not learn from their mistakes, and that's a shame. But I would say some old people are wise for sure. He's actually the most human of the three because he's actually he was reincarnated on Earth at least a few times. He's supposed to have been Lao Tzu for sure, the wise man who wrote the Tao Te Ching, the chief Bible of our religion, of our system of belief here, our philosophy, all of that. And of course, there are over 1,500 books in Taoism that are considered sacred scriptures and canon, and he wrote some of the main ones. He also wrote the Wenzi, which is what I am talking about. I mean, what I'm discussing as a series on my channel. And he is responsible for giving law and telling us how to evolve and advance, spiritually, that is. And he's been Lao Tzu, he's been Fuxi, and Fuxi is a very ancient character in Chinese mythology. I'll discuss him and Nuwa in another video, but these two, Fuxi and Nuwa, they're brother and sister and also husband and wife, and they're the ones who actually, so the legend goes, they gave birth to a lot of things associated with Chinese cultures, such as the writing system and Taoist magic and all that. All right, so now he is actually the Taisan Lao Jun, or just call him Lao Tzu. He is the ancestral master of all lineages of Taoism, including my own, even the one I created, the Sweet Divine Tao. Like, I would place him at the very top. And he's normally dressed in yellow, and he is either holding some sort of fan or some sort of like bottle. All right, so that was a quick look at the three pure ones of Orthodox Taoism. Thank you for watching. As usual, keep living in alignment with the Tao.